What's up, Guff Gang? Joey Marino here from Grown Up Fantasy Football, here to talk a little bit about wide receiver rankings for Week 14. That's right, I'm giving you my top 20 wide receivers for the week. But before we get into today's video, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on the podcast, feel free to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get notified whenever we post. We're posting Tuesday through Friday. You don't want to miss this kind of content. Another thing to do, go check us out and follow us on Twitter at GrownUpFF. We're posting all kinds of fantasy football content on our Twitter. You don't want to miss that either, at GrownUpFF. But let's get into today's video. All right, so before we get into the top 20, I'm going to give you a few honorable mention wide receivers that I think should still have pretty good days, but aren't in the top 20. And those are T. Higgins, DJ Moore, Brandon Cooks, Cooper Kupp, Sterling Shepard, Corey Davis, Deebo Samuel, Robbie Anderson, and Jarvis Landry. All these guys should have good weeks, but not going to crack the list. So number 20, we got Diontae Johnson going up against Buffalo, who's ranked 11th against wide receivers. Not a great matchup, but Diontae Johnson is kind of becoming the number one wide receiver for Pittsburgh. He has a 22% target share, which isn't huge, but it's the most on his team. If the running game continues to struggle, which it might against Buffalo, passing game could have more opportunity for Diontae Johnson to get you points. Number 19, we got DJ Chark going up against Tennessee, who's ranked 30th against wide receivers. This is a very good matchup. DJ Chark was a little bit banged up last week. He was coming off a rib injury. Still hasn't totally developed chemistry with Mike Glennon yet, but the talent is there. I'm not expecting Jacksonville to win this game, but I think garbage time could be a huge factor for DJ Chark to get you some points. Number 18, we got scary Terry McLaurin for the Washington football team going up against San Francisco, who's ranked 19th against wide receivers. It's a decent matchup. Okay, not great, not bad. But he hasn't seen double-digit targets since the Week 8 bye, and I think that's when Alex Smith started to come in. However, he's been extremely efficient, except for last week against the Steelers. Look, the football team has a chance to win the NFC East. I think they're going to be aggressive. Riverboat Ron could get aggressive here. Look for Alex Smith to take maybe a few more deep shots with Terry McLaurin. However, volume could be a great thing for McLaurin. He can run any route. So Terry McLaurin at 18. At number 17, we got Mike Evans, who's up against Minnesota, who's 29th against wide receivers. It's a good matchup for pretty much all your Bucs wide receivers, Evans, Godwin, Antonio Brown. However, Mike Evans is nursing a hamstring injury. He was limited at practice yesterday, so I'd watch out for that. I'm kind of fading him a tad, but he has 18 red zone targets, which is number one in the league. I'd look for a touchdown against a weak secondary in Minnesota. Robert Woods comes in at number 16, going up against New England, who's ranked 8th against fantasy wide receivers. This is not a great matchup on paper. Bill Belichick is great defensive mind. Robert Woods could see a lot of Stefon Gilmore in this game. And the thing is, Robert Woods is dependent upon Jared Goff, who's been kind of streaky all season. I temper my expectations with Robert Woods, but volume should save his week. Number 15, we got Michael Thomas going up against Philadelphia, who's ranked 17th against wide receivers. This is a pretty decent matchup. However, Michael Thomas was back on the injury report with that nagging ankle injury that he's had pretty much all season. I'm kind of fading him a tad. He was limited at practice, and he's had this injury just about all season, so I'm fading him a little bit. And while he doesn't have any touchdowns, he's catching everything that Taysom Hill has thrown his way. He's 22 for 29 with no touchdowns and about 200-plus yards. I still think he has a good week, but I'm a little wary. Number 14, we got Stefon Diggs going up against Pittsburgh, who is ranked 9th against wide receivers. This is not a great matchup. Steelers secondary is really good, but Stefon Diggs has been really good all year. He has a 29% target share. Very hard to pass that up and sit him. And if the game is close, which I think it will be, I like Diggs to have a good upside in a close game for the Bills. Josh Allen's going to look towards him going down the field. He could bust one on the Steelers secondary. He had a good game against the Rams in a close game, so I think if it's a close game, which I think it will be, Diggs should have a pretty good week. At number 13, I've got Chris Godwin going up against Minnesota. We already kind of talked about this matchup. However, just like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin has an injury too. He had minor hand surgery on, I think, Tuesday, getting some pins out of his index finger. He hasn't been at practice all week. It's not great. If he does play, he possibly could be on a pitch count, but we've seen Chris Godwin be super efficient with his catches all year. So even if he does have a pitch count, even with an injury, I've still got him just outside of my top 12 just because I love his efficiency and I love the matchup. Number 12, we got Adam Thielen going up against Tampa Bay, who's ranked 24th. Now, we just kind of talked a little bit about this matchup, but it's on the other side now. Tampa Bay has been really good against the run, and I think that Dalvin Cook doesn't have such a great week, which could lead to more passing opportunity for Adam Thielen. They could get behind, have garbage time. Adam Thielen should have a good week against Tampa Bay, who's not as strong in the secondary as they are against the run. Number 11, we got Justin Jefferson's Adam Thielen's teammate. So we just talked a little bit about the matchup. Tampa Bay has not been great against the secondary. Justin Jefferson has been dominant all year. For not necessarily all year, but these past 4 weeks, he's had 16 points or more each game. I'm putting him in my lineup if I have him. I think you should too. He has a great potential to go off in this game. I like Jefferson. Number 10, we got Julio Jones. That's right. Julio's going up against the Chargers, who are ranked 5th against wide receivers in fantasy. It's not the best matchup, apparently. The Chargers have been losing multiple games this season, but apparently they've been limiting wide receivers. Another thing to note about Julio is he has been nursing a little bit of a hamstring injury. He did not practice yesterday, but it's Julio Jones. He's played through injuries his entire career. He's a tough guy. I expect him to play, and I still think Atlanta's going to move the ball. I think Julio should have a pretty good game this week. So I'd put Julio in my lineup. Number 9, we got A.J. Brown going up against Jacksonville, who's ranked 28th against wide receivers. This matchup has so much potential for A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, and these Titans wide receivers to blow up. Jacksonville is allowing 280 passing yards per game. Tannehill should have a big game, and Derrick Henry should have a big game, which causes a little bit of concern. If Derrick Henry has a big game, they're not going to throw the ball as much. They could get ahead and just lean on the run. However, A.J. Brown has been stupid efficient all year. He should still have a good day. He's getting you 14 fantasy points per game. I'd definitely put him in my lineup this week. Number 8, we got Tyler Lockett, the first of our Seattle receivers to get on the ranking. He's going up against the Jets, who are ranked 23rd. This is a very good matchup. Okay, we just saw Seattle get decimated. Not really decimated, but they got beat by the Giants. No one was expecting that. They limited Russ. They limited DK. They limited Lockett. This is a get-right game for Seattle. Russ is going to cook. And the thing about Lockett is he lines up 55% of his snaps, or he runs them in the slot. That creates so many mismatches for Tyler Lockett to win. I think he has a great day. Plus, DK Metcalf is there to take away the bigger, better corner, but it's the Jets, so I don't know how many bigger, better corners they have. Tyler Lockett's going to have a good day this week. Number 7, we have Calvin Ridley, Julio's teammate, and going up against the Chargers. So it's not the best matchup, apparently. Atlanta's going to move the ball, though, and the thing about Ridley is he has 1,235 air yards on the season and 24 deep targets. Matt Ryan's going to look to him deep. I think he's going to bust one in Seattle secondary and get you a long touchdown. Calvin Ridley has been terrific for fantasy this year. I think he has a good week. I'd put him in my lineup if I were you. Number 6, we got DeAndre Hopkins coming in against the Giants, who ranked 14th against wide receivers. This is not a bad matchup, but not a great matchup. The Giants' D has been getting better and better each game, and he could see a little bit of James Bradberry, who's been shutting down wide receivers left and right this season. He has a 28% target share. Very hard to pass that up. But one thing to be concerned about is his route tree. There was a tweet going around that his route tree's been pretty limited for the past 3 or 4 weeks. So that's something to take note of. However, I'm still starting Hopkins if I have him. Coming in at number 5, our top 5 right here. Coming in at number 5, we have Tyreek Hill going up against Miami, who is ranked 16th against wide receivers. Miami's a solid defense. Brian Flores got him in the right position. He's got him where they need to be. And Tyreek is too fast for people to catch up to him. Okay, he's playing with Mahomes. He's got Andy Reid calling the plays. This is a high-powered offense. Miami's probably not going to slow him down. I don't see him winning this game. I see Kansas City blowing it open, and I think Tyreek Hill gets you a ton of fantasy points this week. Coming in number 4, we got Allen Robinson going up against Houston, who's ranked 21st against wide receivers. This is a great matchup for a great wide receiver. Allen Robinson gets overlooked as one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, but a lot of the players know that he's such a good wide receiver. He has a stupid amount of targets, 108, which ranks 3rd in the league. And Mitch Trubisky is going to start, which means he's going to get all the targets. Mitchell Trubisky only has eyes for Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson has such a high floor, it's hard not to sit him every week, or hard not to start him, every week. But yeah, I'm putting Allen Robinson at number 4 in these rankings. Number 3, we got DK Metcalf, half calf, full calf, Metcalf, going up against the Jets. We kind of talked about him a little bit with Tyler Lockett. It's a great opportunity for the Seahawks to get right. Russ is going to cook, and DK Metcalf is going to beat every kind of double team they try to throw his way. He's such a beast. He should eat a ton in this matchup. So if you got DK, plug him in. All right, number 2, we got Keenan Allen for the Chargers going up against my Falcons, who are ranked 31st against the pass. This is a great matchup for Keenan Allen. Such soft secondary in Atlanta. He has a 29% target share. He's a target monster. Justin Herbert is throwing his way all the time. And we just saw the Chargers get pretty much eviscerated by the Patriots last week. I think this is a get-right game. This is a lot of opportunity for Justin Herbert to get right. Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, even Mike Williams should have a big week. I think this is going to be a very good matchup for Keenan Allen. He should get you a ton of fantasy points. Start him. And coming in at number 1, I think we all saw this coming. Both James and Zach have talked about players on this team for their number 2 or number 1 or number 3 spot. And number 1, we got Davante Adams for the Green Bay Packers going against the Detroit Lions, who ranked 27th against wide receivers. This is a terrific matchup. This is a terrific receiver with a terrific quarterback, a terrific offensive line, a terrific system. What's not to like about Davante Adams? He has a 33% target share. 33. That's insane. I don't think anyone has anything close to that. 29 is the closest. He leads all wide receivers with target share. He had a great game last game, and he should do it again this week. I think the Packers are going to blow it open, and I think Davante Adams is going to have another monster week. So that's going to do it for the top 20 wide receivers for week 14. If you haven't already, leave a comment below to tell if you agree with our list or if you disagree. I don't care. Put a comment in there. Let us know what you think. We want to know what the Guff Gang thinks about our rankings. And if you haven't already, please go subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, go hit that subscribe button down below, hit the bell icon to get notified whenever we're posting, and be sure if you like this video to like it. Makes sense. Lastly, go check us out on Twitter at GrownUpFF. We're posting all kind of fantasy football content there on the reg. So if you haven't already, go like and subscribe, go grow up, and go get guffed.